So we made a short film.
And we did it super scrappy, but people loved it.
They seemed to like it.
But yeah, if they were lying, they were good at it.
Yeah, true. We should cast them for the next.
We should cast them the next one.
Everyone that said they liked the film.
4AB, take 4.
Well, cheers first and foremost.
Cheers, yeah. We did it.
Can't forget that. We're here. We made a short film.
So the session is a short film that's a thriller and it's kind of a drama, and we shot it over the course of 2 days, and currently it's on Omeletto, which is like the home for independent short films on YouTube, and we're really surprised. I think if we had to sum up one word, it would be we're really surprised that it's there.
Yeah, literally, he was like, do you want to submit to Omeletto? And it was like, yeah, let's just throw away the $60 or whatever to submit to.
Like, they're never gonna take this.
Right, and here we are, so that's pretty cool.
Scenes here. Okay, and go up to the microphone a little bit.
Scene 1B-B, take 1.
Good sticks. And action.
I made some arrangements.
That was good, just a little bit faster. Okay.
It's interesting how the project began because I didn't have anything to do with it. For the first time in my career, it was a short film that like I didn't come up with the concept.
I didn't come up with the concept either.
Neither of us are responsible.
No, one of my really good friends, Uncle Tony Roman,
The chocolate bread, bro?
I did.
Fire.
It is fire.
all he pretty much does is smoke weed and come up with movie ideas. I just got tired of hearing all the great movie ideas that weren't being made, and it was like, let's make one of these. So it was like, okay, we need to reach out to somebody that is a director. I had worked with Jack and enjoyed working with Jack, so I was like, let's do the thing.
The original pitch was kind of like it Saw inside of a recording studio.
Yeah.
It was a lot more like violent and kind of gruesome. And like, that's good, but that's not necessarily what I do. And also that was gonna take like a lot longer to shoot because those types of thrillers are really complex. So I was like, what if we made it more of a philosophical kind of like drama thriller kind of thing? And y'all seem to be on board with it. And you kind of took on the role as the producer.
Yes.
And what was that kind of like? Working on something of this scale?
I felt so in my bag on most days, but then there were some days where it was like, yeah, after we're done with this, I'm not gonna produce anymore.
And I was like, but you're so good at it.
I really love the like wheeling and dealing aspect of filmmaking, of like bringing people together and negotiating stuff. So in film, you know, she's in the studio, she's chained to the piano. So that was like one of the key ideas, like from the original pitch, was that like she's like chained to the piano. So we're like, okay, how do we actually do this?
Yeah, because there was no way they were gonna let us drill a bar into the top of a piano.
Yeah, pianos cost a lot of money.
They're a lot of money.
Yeah. Here's a life lesson for you. If you don't have a redneck for a family member, adopt one. Like, you need a redneck in your life. So our solution was that we fabricated a bar that essentially fitted to the piano to go around the edges, some padding on the outside of the bar, inside of the piano to kind of like secure it to it without messing anything up, and then having a bar that went over top of the keys that we could handcuff her to. Having my brother help us with that was just really fun for both of us.
It's not a super common thing to see like someone chained to a piano. Like that's a very evocative image. And I think it was important that we tried to get the bar to look as close as we wanted it to be, which ultimately like our dream situation would have been to actually put a bar on the top of the piano because it creates a lot of different shot angles. And as a director, I was thinking there's a lot of things to interact with. There is one part where she's like grabbing the bar and moving it around, and we did have to have like two PAs basically like hunker down on each side just to hold it to keep it from moving too far.
But there is one shot where he's like looking at her through the window, and you can just see the bar, like the whole mechanism just like moving everywhere. It's kind of hilarious.
Think skinny. That's what I would say. And that's your V mount. It's got the dummy battery in it, so it's okay. Just straight through it.
Most of the people that we ended up bringing on, a little bit newer, a little bit less experienced, And that's what you get in return for not paying somebody, essentially, right? So, but we wanted to make sure that it was a situation where A, they were fed well, B, they generally had a good time on set, and C, they were able to ask questions and get hands-on experience that they were looking for.
Yeah, because then it's a value trade. You know?
Right.
It's like we're creating an atmosphere where people can gain experience and we're getting free labor because we don't have money, because we're paying for this out of our own pocket. Some of the things we spent our money on at the beginning was obviously like the studio itself, catering, and then the lenses, and you can check out the video about the lenses and why we chose them right here. Then we kind of moved into the second stage of pre-production, which was casting. So we got to work with some amazing talent on this production. I say talent because they were actually very talented people. Skylin Kimbrell, she's super easy to work with and she can hit a range that's just like a director's dream. It's really great when you get to work with an actor who can translate director to actual performance, because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's one clip in the behind the scenes.
You're like, yeah, no, you don't.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. There's one clip in the behind the scenes where we're just like, the camera's like on Skylin, right? And we're just cutting up laughing. She's cutting up laughing with somebody. And then it's like, okay, we're gonna roll. And then her face just immediately was just like so serious. It's perfect encompassment of like how good she is.
I just want to know what that is. Is that a dumpling? Yeah. That's not a dumpling.
No, that's like a Kinder Egg.
When you come in on action, you know, obviously like busting, you're gonna kind of curve around and you're gonna kind of end up here.
Okay.
And Skylin, you're gonna kind of back away from him. You're gonna be like right there.
I'm just trying to do my job.
Let me go, you crazy bitch boy!
Okay.
The other character was the producer, and we needed someone who was like physically strong and had kind of a domineering presence. And I was reluctant to cast my buddy Kanan Reese. I've worked with him on a couple of other productions before. He's a staple in my cinematography reel, but he actually won me over. Like I sent him the script and he did a read for me, and he was just like, he brought this coldness and like this callousness to the role that I was like, dang dude, where did that come from?
What do you mean what? You're a piano player and it's time to play.
Let me go.
You just hold it like this. You really don't need
Is
it.
this practice?
I don't. It's kind of like a good workout though, you know? You get used to it.
The best lens support of all time. 2 business cards, $5,000 lens. Here's how we're holding it up. Don't show this to lensrentals.com. Capturing these beautiful people.
We had kind of a dilemma when we were starting out. We were like, we could get an RE or we could get a red or something, but then we don't really have the budget to get a second camera, and we have so many shots to get.
Right, and so we ended up shooting with the A7 IIIs because I had one and Roy had one. So we gave him Jack's camera, and then we just ran the 2 A7 IIIs with the cinema lenses. That made it to where we just like flew through these scenes.
We had to. We only had 2 days to shoot.
There's no other choice.
And basically the back third of the second day had to be to put the studio back together. It was such a short shoot, but because we used 2 cameras, we were able to get it done.
It was great, and it was also a challenge, you know, because it's like managing the light, you know what I mean? Like with the 2 angles, especially when you're cross shooting. Jason did a really great job with the overhead setup. So for us, it was really more about like positioning the actors in relation to the light source. There was a lot of really beautiful shots we were able to get. There's like these gobos on wheels, which in a studio is like essentially like a sound panel just on wheels that you can move around the room, do whatever you need to do. And we essentially encompassed the piano with these things to create this like red wall. And that red, I feel like, really added to the drama. There's some shots where the fall off of the light on the red wall in relation to like how the light was hitting Skylin's face, specifically when she's like on the floor, using the bar as an element in the foreground. Really able to create a lot of tension and use the bar as leading lines between that and the top of the piano, and having Skylin inside of that.
And action.
Please don't hurt me.
Oh, stop stammering. You know what this is? It's a contract to sign with LCA.
My record label? You're with my label?
So my favorite shot was when the producer first walks in the room and he slaps the record contract down, then he pulls it away.
You know what this is? It's your contract you signed with LCA.
And you can see his face in the reflection of the piano, and it like racks focus to it. That was just so killer, and it was a really great way to like fully introduce his character.
That was a really fun shot to use because it kind of broke all the rules, right? It's like it's crossing the 180 because it's a reflection and he's upside down, and it's underexposed because he's reflecting off of black. But it works for the scene, so it's like we knew that it was something cool.
I wasn't even thinking rules at all. I think it literally like we were blocking the scene and I just caught a glimpse of the reflection.
Yeah.
I was like, yo! And, like spent like 15 minutes figuring the shot out, and it was so worth it though. It's like one of the best shots.
At this point, this is before he comes in to set up your bench. So we need to have the bench on the floor. Tal, can you move the wood?
Do we need the other light in here too?
What light?
The bar?
No, I think we're fine.
So you're getting that, I'm getting her hands. What am I covering for her?
Her face and her hand, probably a mid.
Got it.
You know, like maybe a little bit of a wider shot.
Yeah.
Can you go to Rebecca? Rebecca? So this is gonna be a little bit later. Can we get her makeup a little bit distressed and get red marks on her wrists?
Every time you go on set, it's a good learning experience, and so it was fun to have new things to do around people, and now new goals, such as labeling my brushes. That might be a good idea.
How it's stable. No, it's not. Well, he's blocking this, so I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, wing nuts right there on that. Just miss it. We don't have to.
Let's do that. It's kind of been like this all day.
It's warm in here. It's
That's
gonna drop
all
a little bit. Is that
Yeah,
higher?
that's perfectly fine. All right, Tal, can you move the cam? We need to get the bar back in place.
340.
Have you ever seen Muppet Treasure
Why
Island?
is this not? I've not seen Muppet Treasure Island.
Oh, because I'm way
I've seen
missing out.
Island.
You're missing out, dog. Anyway, sorry, you had a question? The space was actually very small. So the challenge that I had as a director was trying to create contrast in the variety of shots that we were getting, and trying to get a lot of close-ups of details, trying to get a lot of like profiles over the shoulders, like singles, doubles. The stuff like the reflection on top of the piano is so great because it's so different than what people have seen. It comes in so handy in the edit because it's fresh. And I think when you're shooting in a smaller space like that, you have to use a lot of variety in the shots that you're getting. Yeah. If it was a two-shot the whole time, no one would have paid attention.
Scenes 22-24A, take 2.
And action, you're front.
That's enough for today.
Okay, cut.
We had a plan going into it to where we weren't thinking about this stuff. That's really important with the whole scrappiness of the project, is that you can be scrappy, but you gotta have a plan of how you're gonna pull that off if it's gonna go well.
One of the temptations that I had as a director was to always make my shot the priority shot. That's just like my DP coming out and like wanting to control the image, and it's like, actually, that's not what I'm trying to do here. We're trying to work in tandem.
Right.
And create a cohesive image. And I feel like, for the most part, I feel like we did that.
I mean, that's something that you should always do, is when you're coming on set, put your ego to the side and think about everything that you're doing from how does this benefit the story as opposed to, you know, what is...
I want my shot to be the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Robin, turn towards Amy for me. You wouldn't happen to Star Wars. You're talking to Amy piano, would you?
Why aren't you doing it, man? I just need you to play the piano.
a little bit more to the side.
I just need you to play the piano, man. You make my job so much harder than it needs to be.
I know this is like counterintuitive, but we had Roman on set, and he really didn't contribute a lot on set, but having him and having Roy doing behind the scenes, the vibe was just so high the whole time.
Yeah.
I was stressed. I was trying not to show that I was stressed. I know Jack was in the same boat.
I was super stressed.
Yeah, so like having them there, keeping it light, I personally think that's really important.
We're wrapped. That was it. That was the filming of the session. Great experience, great people. Lot of shooting. I'm gonna try to write a shorter script next time.
Well, hey, good job.
Oh, thank you. You're trying to like hold it out.
I wonder if it turned out.
Probably not. I I know it's like a stereotypical term, but it's like we're really blessed to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And it's like if you take a second and you reorient yourself on set to kind of like be more grateful about what you get to do, it kind of changes the way you interact with the process. I think we can get jaded about like, oh, we don't have an RE, we don't have this, we don't have this. It's not a real production because we didn't have 27 grips. And it's like, that doesn't really matter. What matters is like, what are you capturing? How does it relate to the story? The fulfillment that you have there as a director is more about like telling the story cohesively.
What's that?
Woo! I think it's a wrap.
But actually, wait, we needed to get one more shot with GoPro.
Yeah, we need the shot with GoPro. Wait, no, never mind.
You said the right what?
Woo! That's a wrap.
Good job, everybody. We did it.
We wrapped the session.
Something we had on this project that was really different from a lot of other short films was we had original music.
On a scale of 1 to 10, like how comfy are you right now?
It's a good 9.5. If I was here, now it's a 10. Now it's a 10.
I was editing the last scene. I'm trying all these different songs. The number goes up every time I say it, but I probably tried like 10 or 20 songs. And none of them had like the emotional impact that I was looking for, because it's really like a heavy emotional moment. So I wrote a song, and then we needed somebody to sing on the song. Reached out to Mary, Slow Funeral, somehow convinced her to sing on the song. We spent a day in the studio. Actually, we recorded in the same studio that we shot the film in.
Yeah, that was a little trippy.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
When I'm writing like lyrics and melodies, I like to sit like at a piano or like a guitar and kind of like play the bare bones of it so I can mess with it. Some stuff I already have like a melody in mind. I have to go back and write the harmonic structure for it later. So it just is what's best for the song.
Something's gonna happen in 2 days' time that none of us can stop.
So my question too is like, what's the difference? What are you defining as the verse versus the chorus?
Like this whole first part, like this is verse.
We wrote a whole song, a whole like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus.
Over the course of like a day.
Yeah.
Can we order food?
It's a really emotional ending and you need something to push it over the edge. And the music was ultimately what did it. The premiere was really cool because it was a first-year festival, Counterpunch Film Festival in Greenville, South Carolina. And we were one of the headlining shorts at the very end of the last day. And there was like 150 people slammed into this like warehouse, like sitting on the floor.
This project that was so scrappy but still happened, and the festival itself, regardless of us, was like the same vibe. And for it to like all culminate together in my world in that way, was just really beautiful.
Initially, you see everything that you could have done better, and ultimately at the end of the day, it's like you gotta kind of let it go and let people experience it, otherwise you'll never make anything. The great thing about the filmmaking community here is just everybody is really willing to help each other and like jump on each other's projects, and ultimately that's the reason that this project got made.
And whether you do it with a fancy camera with cinema lenses or an iPhone, really doesn't matter. As long as you have a vision, it's in your hands.
It's in your hands. Anyway, if you want to see the result of all this stupidity, it's on top of Michael's face.
Yeah, it would be awesome if it could just like be like where my head is, but like you can see my shoulders. You know?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of transparent too, so you'll be like moving around.
Nice. Well, I guess you'll find out when you click this video that's over Jack's face.